Thank you for checking out the Media Marketing Podcast, a place where you can learn all things media and marketing related. Don't miss a beat in boosting your business and your brand. In each episode, you'll gain valuable insights, tools, and strategies to apply to your marketing efforts. And now your host, Brian Cargill.
All right, here we are. I'm joined by Dorice Horenstein. She was born and raised in Israel and moved to Portland after completing her service as an officer in the Israel Defense Forces, IDF. She worked in Jewish education for more than 30 years, transferring her love to Jewish traditions and the Hebrew language to more than 1,000 students in private and class settings. Today, the world is her classroom. With her book, Moments of the Heart, 4 relationships everyone should experience in life wholeheartedly, Dorice uses Jewish wisdom, the knowledge of the Hebrew language, and personal stories to spread positive messages and inspire all groups to live a better, more focused, and enjoyable life. Life with purpose. Dorice, this is awesome. Thanks for joining me.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for having me.
Man, I kind of wish I would have just bottled up all the things that we said before this podcast started, but I'm excited to have you on the show. And like we were talking before, I mean, you have a great personality and you have lots of wisdom. As much as you don't think you have that, I've been following your channels on social media and your emails, and you do a great job of breaking through that wall that is, social media with people. You're able to break through and really reach out and touch people. So I'm really appreciative of all the work that you do.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And I'm so glad that our universes came into being so I had a chance to meet you, and you have taken such amazing pictures of me. And it is my pleasure to be talking to you, to inspire your audience, to give tips for whatever it is that I do. And, life is a beautiful journey when you're ready for it, right? It's all about being ready. You mentioned that I've had 1,000 students. And yes, I come from the world of education. That's, I think, one of the things that makes me unique, I think, is that I understand how education can empower people. And what you're doing is educating people about video content, strategies, about photography, about being out there for speakers. And I think it's so valuable. So I thank you, and I'm looking forward to this fun conversation with you.
Yeah, me too. I know education's an interesting thing. I think we all grew up in the traditional, you go to school, but it doesn't stop there. And then you eventually become a teacher when you know stuff to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. So it's fun giving that back and not, holding all the knowledge up here in my mind, but using these resources such as a platform or a podcast or a book to share your message. How did, I guess, it'd be fun to start all the way at the beginning.
I always say, Brian,
Uh-oh, you're cutting out a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Now I can hear you.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you have cut out a little bit too, so hopefully it's all good. Well, I came to America. I'm dating myself right now. So even though I look young, I'm not as young as I look. I came to America in 1986 after meeting my husband on, that may sound funny, on an apple picking machine on a kibbutz in Israel. And I met him when I was 18. I enrolled then in the Israeli army, where you correctly said that I served in the IDF. I was an officer in the Israeli army, which is I think was a pivotal experience in who I were to become. And that's a leader, and that's an educator, and that's an influencer, and somebody who nourishes other people. And that's how I looked at my service in the Israeli army. I had platoons, and I was in a boot camp. I was an officer in a boot camp. I taught people how to operate machinery and topography and first aid. And I was a teacher, really. That's how I looked at it. And it taught me that if you put your mind onto something, the sky's the limit. That was I think, the groundbreaking of my own being. Dorice, you can set your mind to do anything you decide that you want to do. So I came here to America, and because I love Judaism and I love the Hebrew language and I'm bilingual, I naturally gravitated to inspire people within my sphere. And I became eventually an education director in a synagogue where I was working there for 16 years as an education director. And while I loved the people that I worked with and worked for, I also realized that only those people that came into the four walls of my synagogue were able to listen to me, or for me to get to know them, and for me to serve them. And there was a moment in the month of February 2018, where I came to the realization that I want the world to be my classroom. And I remember sitting, I was on the flight to Israel to visit my family. And my girlfriend gave me a book that's called The Universe Has Your Back, Gabrielle Bernstein. I don't know if you're familiar with this book.
Mm-mm.
But anyway, I put the book in my bag, and then I read it on the plane. And when I landed in Israel a day later, because that's how long the flight is, I called my husband from the airport and I said, I must leave my job in order for the next piece of my life to open up for me. And that's what happened. I first, 5 months later, left my position, and by I had no website, I had no book, I had no podcast. I did not know exactly how I'm going to reach the people that I want to reach. How am I going to find you? How am I going to talk to you? I did not know any of it. And within 6 weeks after I left, I had a website. At the beginning, it was JewishEducationServices.com, which still is operating. I have 2 websites now.
Okay.
And then I went into this whole inspiring people. And within that 6 weeks of leaving, from July 1st to August 10th, I also had a publisher company interested in publishing back then my manuscript. And that was, again, I think it was the hand of God leading me towards that. And then from there to now, I'm now a professional public speaker, and it gives me an immense joy and satisfaction. I feel like until now, I had a job and I had a career, but now I have a calling, and that is a different level, and I wouldn't replace it with anything in the world.
That's awesome. So yeah, you really feel like you're kind of living in accordance with like the things that you wanted to accomplish in life, or I don't know, maybe there's like kind of a time and place for every, chapter in life, but that's awesome that you made that jump, made that leap. I know for myself, it was not easy as well. I'm sure you were kind of torn. Like you were an educator, you were reaching a lot of people, you're comfortable, doing great. But I think taking it to another level and really, taking advantage of the world that we live in now, where you have these resources, where you can create your own website. You don't have to have an actual physical storefront. So
that's right. And also what you said, everything has a time and a place, right? And I turned 50, and I thought to myself, is this what it's going to be? Is this what it's going to be? Am I going to stay here, which is fine, in that synagogue? Is that what my life is? And I had to sit with myself and listen to the inner voice that was starting to get louder and louder and louder and louder in my own head. And my kids at that time, I have 3 children. My husband and I have 3 children. And my kids, 25 back then, 25, 22, they looked at what was happening with me and my journey in admiration. And when I actually left, they were the first one to say, Mom, we are so proud of you. Actually, they said Ima in Hebrew. And they said, we are so proud of you. Because how many people have that courage and then follow it up, because what is courage? It's jumping into sometimes unknown. And I talk about it in my talks. I always compare Hebrew and English. And courage is taken from Latin. In Hebrew, it means, in French, it's actually originated in French. It means cure heart. But in Hebrew, it means the adoption of the heart. What do we adopt in our lives? What are the new ways that we are willing to live, even if we don't know what will happen, right? And that takes a lot of faith, which I talk a lot about.
yeah,
Right? It talks about belief. It talks about hope. And so in my life, I really utilize everything that I'm teaching, everything that I'm talking, into making my life what I envision it to be. And of course, for me, I have outside source. I have the power. So for me, it's God. To other people, it may be nature. For other people, it may be the power from the outside, whatever that is. I speak to people who are religious and people who are not religious, depending what it is. But courage in its essence is looking for a power outside of you to get you from point A to point B. And a belief in yourself and a trust in yourself and other people to get you where you want to go. And all of that I talk in my masterminds, in my talks. It's really unpacking a lot.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of fun kind of in the entrepreneurial journey. It's like kind of learning about yourself, but making that initial jump and having that trust. And I think that's great that you referenced that book. I haven't read it, but like kind of trusting the universe has your back.
Yeah.
And knowing that, and then believing in yourself, because sometimes it's kind of scary. And what's interesting, what I found, is that there's no clear-cut path. You can create your own destiny, and you give yourself permission to fail. Hey, I'm gonna try writing these 10 blog posts, or I'm gonna create this podcast, and if it does well, great. If it doesn't, I learn from that experience and I keep growing, and it's part of my journey as well, right?
Yeah, I think it has to do, Brian, with the entrepreneurial mindset. What is your mindset? Because let's face it, and I say that in my talks, I said everything is not for everyone, and it's okay if you don't want to do this path, and for you another path is better. That's quite all right. It's not that one thing is better than the other, right? But the entrepreneurial mindset is that in my opinion, you have to be independent thinker. You got to be creative. You got to be self-driven and determined. You have to have a sense of tenacity of going continuously. So let's say you do a blog or 2 or 3. Is this enough of a reason to stop? Only 3? And the answer is, if you really have the entrepreneurial mindset, the answer is no. The answer is you have to do something at least, right? Studies shows that you have to do something at least 21 times, right? In order for it to be a habit. That's talking about exercises. They're talking about eating nutritious foods. They talk about all this stuff. I increase it. I say do it for 30 times. Do it for 30 times, but do it consistently. I always talk about the differences between being reliable, meaning what you say what you mean, but also consistency. Consistency is crucial, in my opinion, in making any long-term change an effect, right? If you exercised only for 3 days, 4 days, and then you decided, I don't like to exercise anymore. Well, then you missed really on the benefit of it on the other side. Same thing with entrepreneurs, same thing with eating right, same thing with all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of making those small wins, getting those small wins every day over the course of time. Yeah. 30 days. And then you hear about all these stories of people, maybe they had a YouTube channel or they wrote blog posts, and it didn't take just 1 year. It took 2 years, 3 years, 4. And then they become these household names that we've heard of, but you never knew who they were when they were in those early stages of building whatever it was.
Yeah. Like let's take the book, the Chicken Soup for the Soul, right? How many times people, publishers did not want to publish this book? What about, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of the book, the Harry Potter.
Yeah.
At the beginning, can you believe I forgot Harry Potter?
Yeah. I know. Yeah. J.K. Rowling.
Yeah, that's right. J.K. Rowling. She was refused several times until it got to be, yes, we're going to do this. So taking refusal from other people doesn't mean that whatever it is that you believe in cannot actually become a reality. You have to have this consistency, this vision, but it doesn't also mean that you shouldn't change. It's okay to tweak. I mean, the way I was in 2018, July 1st, and the way I operate now is different because I grow, I change, right? I develop. I always talk about it from the Hebrew language perspective. So I talk about the word change and the word a year share the same main letters. And when something's in Hebrew share the same main letters, that means that there's an underlying meaning to it. So what does that mean? That every year we go through changes. The cells on our skin, the skin cells change and renew every year. So if that changes every year, why wouldn't our inside change? Why couldn't we revisit what is going on and tweak it, right? That's, so at the beginning, I had jewisheducationservices.com as my website, which is still there, which is still has a lot of amazing, good information. But then I built, DoriceHorenstein.com as my other ones, as for my speaking career, because that was for an education more, and this is more for speaking. So it's okay to develop and change and create. It's positive to do that. It gets your juices going.
I know. Yeah. And I think, it just shows that you're kind of adapting to, what the market is saying. You're updating as a person. And
Exactly.
I think it's tough. A lot of people only look at life sometimes as a snapshot or where you are today, and they don't really think kind of long-term, okay, where is it going to be 5-10 years from now? And it's been fascinating. You hear all these success stories of businesses that did change. Let's see, I was doing a walking tour in Chicago, and we saw Wrigley gum. And I think Wrigley originally was like a laundry detergent, laundry product. And they just gave away a stick of gum as a gimmick, as a little joke. And it wound up being something so popular that they changed their entire model from laundry to just doing gum. And now everyone knows Wrigley. So at any time, your business could change.
Absolutely. I was just watching with my children and my husband the show about Michael Jordan called The Last Dance.
Yeah.
And have you seen it? Have you watched it?
I haven't seen. I've only been seeing the updates on it on my I've seen commercials for it.
Oh, so my son and my husband are very sports, people. So I sit and watch it with them, which I did not know I will enjoy it as much. But what the little snippet of what I wanted to share is that he got a chance to do this commercial for Nike. And before he did this, Nike was not at the household name that it is today. So Nike was saying, okay, let's have Michael Jordan do this commercial with the shoes for us, right? And wow, it just blew what Nike was to be the empire that it is today. Sometimes small changes that you come up with that can make a huge impact on your business. When I left again in 2018, I did not know that. I thought to myself back then, okay, only Jewish people would want me to teach them. Only people who are interested about Judaism will want me to inspire them. But just last week, I spoke to Standard Insurance in New York about team building and collaboration. Now you would think, what? How did this happen? Well, because I've developed my audience, which is another big, huge part. It's like, who is your audience and what is your story? Who are you serving? Who are you serving? So I developed my talk when I talk about relationships, which is started with my book. I zone in, I kind of like I narrow it into team building and collaboration, which is a huge part of having a relationship with people, right? So you can take those tips that I talk about, team building and collaboration, you can take that and apply it to your home team, in other words, your family, right? Yep. Or you can apply it to your customers, your clients, which are your part of your team, right? They're a recipient. Or you can do it in your workplace with your colleagues, right? With your boss. So it depends. But I had to kind of narrow down the word relationship, which is so big, and say, okay, what about relationship am I care most about? It's how I do relate to other people. How do I deal with other people, right? And the beginning is, of course, dealing with yourself. In order to be in a team, you got to first do you and then do the team. So that's, so that's how life changes, right? And you hone in on what it is that your specialty is.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah. And you bring up some good points. Yeah, you got to be able to kind of be in your own right mindset or take care of yourself before you can show up for others. But I think that's great. I think a lot of people underestimate the power of relationships. Like a lot of my business is foundation, like businesses or relationships are the main foundation of how I'm able to operate. And so, I think a lot of people maybe think they should only do it all on their own, or they don't know that, you're just one relationship away from like a great success story. I'm sure with Standard Insurance that came out of, you've developed a relationship, whether it was in person or it could have been virtually through your email marketing or through the website, the things they've seen about you.
You are so right. Let me tell you, I mean, the Standard Insurance relationship is amazing. It's somebody actually called my husband to talk about a relationship, and my husband works for the Jewish Federation of Portland. He does a lot of the political wings of the Federation business. And somebody from a church called my husband to outreach to the Jewish community from a Christian community. So when my husband was talking to them, my husband said, oh, you know what? You should connect with my wife. My wife would love to chat with you. So this individual called me. We had lunch. I invited her to coffee in my house and lunch. This is how simple this was. And we started talking, and at that time, I didn't even think about her job in Standard Insurance because she came from a church setting. I was thinking of church setting. So I said, maybe I could talk to your pastor, to this, to that. And then she came to my book launch. I had this big party for my book launch literally a year ago in April. And so she came, and when she heard that, she's like, oh my gosh, Dorice, it would be lovely if you can talk to my group, my team. That's how simple it is. But it took time, right? Because I met this amazing woman a year ago. And people think, oh, I'm going to make a relationship with you, and then you're going to invite me to your podcast, and then you're going to buy my program, and then you're going to do this. And I say, no. Relationship is like, you have to put it how do you make good coffee? I mean, not from the machine. I'm talking real Turkish coffee.
Yeah.
You gotta put it on the stove, and you gotta stir it, and you gotta heat it up slowly until it kind of bubbles up. And then you put the sugar, and then you melt it. It takes time to make a great, great Turkish cup of coffee, right? That's how relationships are. You can't go in and say, gimme, 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 without first saying, let's shake hands, right?
Yeah, shake hands, build trust. They want to know that you're a real person. It's all those good things.
Yes. They want to again, you are reliable, and that you're consistent, and that you are authentic. I talk about in my talks, I go through the whole concept of trust, and I talk about how trust it shares the same word in Hebrew as the word insurance. Isn't that funny? I'm talking to insurance companies, and the word insurance, the word trust share the same root base in Hebrew. What does that mean? That in order to be insured, and by the way, the same for assured, in order to be assured of something, you got to have trust built in, right? If we didn't have trust, I would say, I don't want to be a guest of yours because I don't know where it would lead me. I don't know what is it you're going to ask of me. We need to have that kind of trust in order for, it's one of the foundation for good relationships.
Yeah.
Trust in yourself and trust in other people.
Exactly. Yeah. If someone says they're going to do something and then they do it. And so, yeah. And then you're kind of building all those little wins along the way, oh, did I show up on time? Did I, do what I said I was going to do, etc. So I think that's great. And I think a lot of our listeners are going to be able to, kind of apply that to their own lives with, I definitely urge people to check out Dorice, check out your book, Moments of the Heart. Maybe you can talk about, yeah, there we go. You have the visual right there. So for people watching this on YouTube, yeah, Moments of the Heart. That's awesome. Great book cover. Did you work with the designer to have that come to fruition?
I want to tell you, this has been like the work of love. And so this book has been as a book talking about video content strategies. You will enjoy this, how this became, because my sister in 2014 was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer, and she lives in Israel, right? And I live in America, and she's 10 years younger than me. At that time, she was 38 years old. And this was like a very quickly spreading cancer. And I remember it was a Thursday night when I got the news, and I narrated the book, like what exactly happened in my head. But long story short, what I decided to every Saturday night to put a video on Facebook talking about something that has a source of inspiration for her, for me, going through this. And so when I started to do it, my girlfriend Lisa said to me, Dorice, why don't we create a Facebook page and we'll call it Lev Moments. Lev in Hebrew meaning a heart. And I said, well, what a great idea. So we created this Facebook page, and every Saturday night, my son, which back then was 11 years old, helped me by videotaping me with the iPhone that I have. Then I uploaded to YouTube and directly to Facebook, or just directly to Facebook, not to YouTube. Then I decided that YouTube is a good idea because marketing-wise, it's always a good idea to get into YouTube and then get into Facebook because it gets your Google likes it better.
A big thank you to our sponsors over at songtub.com. That's right, song or music and a tub, like a bath, but more fun to say. Tub. Anyway, you can check out Songtub's website for any of your music needs. In fact, the song playing in the background right now is from Songtub. So why pick them over anyone else? Well, they curate the music. And I know the guys, so that means I know that they're selecting great music for your project. A lot of other companies will brag about how many songs they have, maybe 100,000, 200,000, maybe even 1 million. But honestly, I don't have time for that. I don't have the time to just sit down and go next, a song not so great, trying to figure out where the best music is. Songtub.com, great place to get your music. And now I'm excited to offer you the first month for free if you go to songtub.com/pro, P-R-O, and we have a promo code for you. Yes, that's right, my name, your host, Brian, B-R-Y-A-N, and that will give you your first month free to have access to a huge music library that you can use towards your next video project, podcast, or any of your general audio needs. Anyway, back to the show. It's been awesome to hear about just the consistency. So you said it was every Saturday, or was it every Friday that you were posting?
Every Saturday night. And that's, by the way, another tip, right? Because we have to be consistent. So every Saturday night, no matter what, I put a video on Facebook and YouTube. And after that year, I decided, I was questioning myself, what should I do now? And then I thought, okay, Dorice, you're going to write everything out and then see what happens. And long story short, and I encourage your audience to read Moments of the Heart, the 4 relationships everyone should have to live wholeheartedly. At the end of the 3rd year, I had a bunch of manuscript papers. And when I left the synagogue, I still did not have, or I was not even looking for a publisher. And I did not know that a publisher would want my book. And here is another tip. Remember the relationship we talked about and how crucial they are? Well, I've created a relationship with somebody who wrote a book. And I called her up and I invited her to have coffee with me. She came over. We had actually a meal in my backyard. And she said, I'll connect you with my publisher. That was it. She connected me with her publisher. The publisher reached out to me in an email. I emailed him back. We had an hour talk on the phone. At the end of the hour, he said to me, Dorice, you sold me onto this book. Send me all of your, and here's it, all your social media. Send me your manuscript right to my email box. Don't go through the site of the publisher because that takes 3 months before you hear back.
Wow.
And then I'm going to bring it to my team, and we are going to let you know in 2 weeks' time. 2 weeks' time, we're going to let you know if your book is in or out. Now, that is absolutely unheard of. And why it happened? Because of relationships.
Yeah.
Because of relationships. Because I've showed that I'm authentic in my relationship. I showed that I was trustworthy, and the social media links that I sent, which was LinkedIn and tweet, not as much Twitter, but I did send in that. I have a very low presence on Twitter, but more on Facebook. When I sent in that and my website, they said, well, Dorice, clearly you are a person who is honest, true to themselves, driven, all these things that they want to see in their publisher, right? And they publish only 250 books a year. Mine was one of the 250 books, and they put it under the religion section, where they only take 25 books. Only 10% of their books are part of the religion section, and mine was one of them. And so I've been absolutely, God has literally been in my back. The universe has your back. Yes, it does. And the more you think positively, which is another tip, the more you think positively, the more you think of that there is absolutely an abundance out there, and you are needed, and your message is needed. The more we think that, the more I think that, the more things come my way. Just yesterday, for example, I got up in the morning. Swear to God, true story.
Yeah.
I got up in the morning yesterday, and I said to my husband, today I'm going to get a new coaching client. And my husband said, yes. I said, yes. Last night, I got a phone call. I do not kid you. I swear. Last night, I got a phone call, and this person hired me to be his private coaching person.
Wow.
I couldn't believe it. It's what you say comes to fruition. So we have to always watch what we say, right? We always have to watch what we think.
Yeah, it can work positively and negatively, right?
Oh yeah. And that's another thing I talk about in my mastermind program is how our words become our reality. And of course I connect to being a bilingual and talk about it from the Hebrew lens, but also from the Jewish lens, but also from universal human lens, relationship base. So anyway, so that's my book. And I don't know if you know this, Brian, but in April, my book won the Nonfiction Author Association Gold Award.
Whoa, I did not know that. That's incredible. Congratulations. That's huge. That's like
Thank
that's
you.
an extra kind of validation. And then this is, I guess, just to let the viewers and listeners know, this is your first book that you've written?
Yes, it is my first book that I've written. And I'll tell you something else, for all these people out there that are either writing a book or they're trying a new thing to do. And some people tell you, oh, you may not be good enough, or this is not good enough. Listen to your own heart. Because when this book was in manuscript, and I was thinking to myself, who would want to publish my book? Should I do self-publishing? Not that I have anything against self-publishing. I was playing, should I do self-publishing, which means I have to do a lot of the marketing on my own all the time. I have to be the one putting the book in stores. I have to be the one who is pushing my book. Or do I want to have a publishing company that have a rep that sells, quote unquote, my book to bookstores, to Barnes and Noble, to Powell's, to Amazon, to all these things? Will that be? And one person whom I love dearly, she said to me, Dorice, and
Dorice, you cut out right at that moment. Do you mind saying again what your friend said to you?
So my friend, whom I love dearly, she said to me, Dorice, you should self-publish, because you're no Daniel Steele. Nobody would want your book to publish. And so imagine what it does when you hear it from people you love.
Yeah.
Not from people you hate, from people you love, from people that want the best for you, right? This person, I have no doubt, want the best for me, but they didn't want me to have my hopes high and to be discouraged if I get a no. So I had to sit with that notion. I had to literally sit with myself. And because a part of me was like, oh my God, Dorice, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe she is right. Maybe you're not good enough. And I sat with myself and I said to myself, no, Dorice, no, don't go down that road. Don't do that. Be determined. Have that which you always talk about, the faith and the hope and the determination and the courage. Don't let one person's opinion define who you're going to be in the future. So while I love this person, I put that person thought to the side and I said, not going down that road. And that takes strength. That takes a strength of character, and it has to have a clear determination in your mind. How are you in line with your own heart? And And I decided I'm not going down that road of thinking that nobody wants to publish my book. And I was right. I was
Yeah.
right. The first company that I approached with to print my book and to publish my book agreed to do it. So my friend was wrong. As much as I love her, she was wrong.
Yeah.
And I was true to myself, and I prevailed. So all of you out there who are somehow feeling, are we good enough? Sit with yourself for a second and ask yourself, why not?
Yeah.
Right? Why not?
Yeah, bet on yourself. And I think that's great that I'm so
Mhm.
glad that you didn't listen to your friend and you decided to push through and do it anyway. And
Mhm.
I had some, when I was first starting my business, I had some naysayers or people saying no. And yeah, I was like, well, you have to really, believe in yourself and see past that. And it's funny how like as humans, we see, a lot of the negative, like if you gave a speech to a room of 100 people and you got 99 people saying well done and you had one person saying oh I hated it,
Mhm.
it's funny how that the weight of that one person can overthrow all of those other positive remarks.
Yes, yes, yes. But you know what? Don't let it. I make that the same as, imagine yourself. I know it's going to be visual a little bit, but imagine yourself with rubbed in olive oil, which is the good kind of oil, rubbed
Yeah.
in olive oil. And those naysayers, they are drops of water. Okay. And you're wrapped yourself with olive oil. What's going to happen to that drop of oil? It's going to roll off of you. It's not going to penetrate into who you are. So whenever you hear negative thing, immediately what I do, I envision myself wrapped up in olive oil.
That's
Don't let
awesome.
yourself get there, because yeah.
It probably,
And,
yeah.
and
I
if you
mean, yeah, it just slides right off, and I think that's
slides,
great. And that's almost, I like that analogy better than the, I'm rubber, you're glue, kind of the childhood.
no,
I think olive oil, yeah, because olive oil, I mean, yeah, it's good for your skin and it makes you shiny, and I think
yeah,
it's a great
yeah.
outlet
And by the
for a
way,
lot of people.
yes, and how do you create olive oil? Now, coming from the Middle East, I can tell you that you create olive oil by taking olives, and one time I actually did it, and you squeeze it. Now there's machines, but in the old days, you would have the olives in the spit. People with a specific kind of boots will stand and will stomp on the olives, and the oil that will come out will drain into this little pipe that will go to this bottle, and then they'll clean it, and then that will be the purest olive oil. The best taste of olives come because something was squeezed to no end. Think of
Mm,
yourself sometimes as an olive. You're going to be squeezed, and especially as an entrepreneur, you're
yeah.
going to be squeezed. You're going to be tested. But when it happens to you, the best things comes out of you. The most purest olive oil is going to come out of you. So that to me is amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
from
definitely. Because yeah, you're gonna have things that test you. You're gonna be pushed to your limits emotionally, physically. Maybe there's some late nights, some early mornings, and those all, yeah,
yes,
are gonna challenge your character. But you're gonna grow, and you're gonna become this great, olive oil mixture by the end of it. Which, then you'll be able to share that with other people. Which I think you've done a great job of sharing your message with others.
well, you come to this, what I do, to this serving, what I do, when I come with my full heart and I said, hey guys, hey ladies, hey gentlemen, hey, hello everybody, I come to serve you. I come to share my wisdom with you, with the hope that it could help you be from wherever you are to where you want to be. And I want to be encouraging to you, and I want to motivate you through my stories, through my life, through my way. And you had to, because as you are finding out, we can talk for hours and we will not cover everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can
Yep.
just have an amazing conversation. So connect with me for the master class, which by the way, I'm planning on doing a free master class going through stuff, and then I'll send you the information. You can send it to your audience. I would love for them to be
Yeah,
free.
I would love to get that in the show notes. I guess really briefly, can people find some of that information on DoriceHorenstein.com?
Yes, go to DoriceHorenstein.com, and there is videos where I talk about identity and about conscience and about direction. There's a billion videos there. I have been a guest on several podcasts as well as TV shows, radio stations. Listen to all of that. You can glean a lot of information, and connect with me on Facebook. Connect with me on Facebook. There is a group that is a public group. I call it Jewish Wisdom from the Heart. I put once or twice a week. I don't overwhelm people. I put a question or two. I put sometimes a video. I go live on my personal page group every week, either through Zoom or Be Live. Or sometimes I just take off my camera and I just go live on my camera just to set some things to keep people interested, to give them a little nugget, not a whole big spiel, a nugget.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just kind of one little tip there. I think that's great. And what I love about your marketing, or the way that you market yourself, is you provide a lot of opportunities for people to be able to connect with you. So whether that's through their email inbox, or if they're just scrolling through their social media feed, they're going to see you at least once a week through those webinars.
Absolutely, all the time. And you asked me, Dorice, what are the tips for executives looking to boost their individual brand? Mm-hmm. And I think what we kind of covered it already, but it's the idea of being present and being out there consistently, and for people to rely on your message, that you speak whatever your message is. So in order to do that, we need to be clear on our message, right? What is our message? Who is your audience? Who are you serving? Who are you serving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes to do that, we have to be sometimes ourselves coached. We have to be with a mastermind of our own.
Yeah.
Right? We have to be around like-minded people, right? And we have to keep on growing. Who I was in July of 2018 in my business is not the same as who I am now. Now, it doesn't mean that I've changed my personality. No, I don't mean that at all. I use the same stories, the same lessons, the same personality, the same thing, but I am opening my eyes to the niche that I want to attract, right? So what is it? So, and I think when we think about this, our message becomes stronger. And I'm still learning. I'm only 2 years into this. Ask me in another 3 years. Let's see what happens then.
Yeah, exactly. Which I'm excited. Because it's been a process, and I guess right now you've created. There's a couple, as a teacher, as an educator. There's like 3 ways that people can learn things, right? It's through visuals, audio, or kinesthetic, right? They can experience it through being there in person. Which you lead retreats, or you have mastermind groups, which are kind of that's experiential learning. But I think that's just awesome. All the different platforms.
Thank you. The other thing I'm doing this for free, that everybody can join. If you get your book, Moments of the Heart, in the month of June, I think it's June 9th, Tuesday, I'm doing a free book talk with the author. And there's an opportunity for people to also buy a bottle of wine and come and pick it up from my house. I'm ordering all the wine, so people can come to my house and pick up in a really low price, great wine. Pinot Gris for my friend who has a wine cellar. And so I bought a bunch of wine from her, and people can buy the wine, come drive by, pick up from my front yard, go to their house and pour themselves a glass of wine, and then have a talk with me as the Oregonian author. Even though I'm born in Israel, I call myself totally Oregonian. And my friend who is the wine cellar person, and she knows so much about wines. She's also going to be a guest on my show on this. So we're going to talk about wine and talk about books and my book, and it will be like really absolutely delightful. So I will definitely send you the link, and for people to sign up.
Yeah, please do. That's so awesome, Dorice. You're always thinking of these out of the box ways of just creating like great experiences for people. I mean, who would have thought? I mean, a lot of people, I think they write a book and they say, "Hey, I'm going to take my book and I'm going to go maybe do some book signings or talk at some different local areas." But that's awesome that you've paired up with a winery with your
Yes.
friend who's already doing this and creating an experiential way for people to not only learn about the book but do it in an enjoyable manner. And there's something to be said about wine that, creates a level of,
Yes.
class to it. So that's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm always thinking, what would I want? And I'm super creative, and I like doing things a little different, And so I think, okay, what would I like? I would like to read a book, and especially nowadays with the pandemic, when people cannot leave their homes, you know, can't go sit with my girlfriends and share a bottle of wine and be close with them, but we could do it on Zoom. And a friend of mine, just last Friday, I haven't talked to her for a few months, and she says, Dorice, I'm so zoomed out. And I said to her, trust me, get on Zoom right now. We're going to have a great time. So she got on Zoom, and we had the most lovely 45 minutes of discussion. And she says to me, Dorice, you know what? I'm so happy that we did this because I'm feeling so much more energized. And I said, that's right. I said, sometimes when we use Zoom only for work related stuff, it gets us tired.
Mm-hmm.
But if we use Zoom or other social platform that is video, that we can see each other and just chat, it's great. So this morning I called another girlfriend and I said to her, do you want to do a Zoom dinner? And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, Wednesday night, tomorrow, 6:30 or 7 p.m. Get your computer, put it on your dining room table. We're eating, you guys are eating, we're eating together, and we're chatting. We're going to do Zoom dinner.
Yeah.
And she's like, sign me up, I'm coming over.
That's awesome. That's great. Cause then you're not treating it like it's just this chore or this challenging thing. You've really made it fun and welcoming and inviting, which I was going to ask you, cause you do have this skill that I don't think I see from a lot of other speakers or people that are just out there in the public eye, but you're able to connect through the screen. Do you have any, tips for people? I get, one thing I would imagine is, from what I've heard is, treat it like a relationship. When you're talking through the camera, you actually are connecting with the person. I think sometimes people just see their, their computer camera screen or whatever, and then it's just not as personable. Do you have any other tips for people how to break through and
Yes.
connect with your audience?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you for asking. Well, first of all, thank you for giving me this compliment. It means so much to me. Thank you.
Well, you do a great job of it. It's not easy. And so, yeah, you're well deserved.
Thank you. So I'll give you a couple of tips. Number one, I always, before I go live, I think in my head of a person that I'm talking to, like my avatar, like who is that one person, and choose somebody you actually know. So
a cactus knows how to survive. It can endure scorching heat, limited rainfall, and defends itself against critters daily. Your business is no different. To survive harsh conditions, it's important to develop deep roots using media content that'll continuously nourish and support your marketing efforts day after day. Tactus Media is here to help you determine a strategy and create media content. Together, let's map out the next sequence of videos, podcasts, and social media to help your business thrive. Work with Tactus Media, media tactics that stick. Ouch! Visit tactusmedia.com to learn more.
Speaking as if you're talking to your avatar as if you're talking to somebody that you know. That's where it left off.
Exactly. So you talk to somebody that so meet in your mind personal, because like, for example, right now I'm not seeing, but I am seeing you. I am talking to you. So whatever it is that I'm saying, I'm visioning in front of me. That makes it personal. That makes it more than I'm sitting in front of an object called my camera, because then your body is like down. So, which gives me to the second piece of my thing. Before live, I get my personal physical energy up, and I do a hand movement. Like I take my hands and I just create a wave. Both of them, like bringing like even like a little bit of wind onto my face. as I put my both hands like this. I don't know how many, you can't see me because I'm doing it right now, to illustrate this.
Well,
And
maybe you can explain it to people. So you're kind of like waving, waving air onto your face.
Yeah, like in a way, like my tools are on my side, and I'm just like bringing wind over to my face. So I'm like as if I'm twirling my hand and I'm making circles, counterclock circles in my hand, bringing wind. Is that good explanation? Like you move it so then your energy is up, because you feel like up in your upper body. You feel like, okay, so you feel like you bring the energy from bottom up in a circular motion with your hands. So I do that before I get on live all the time. Okay, that's trick number 2. Trick number 3. So I use the camera as my friend, not only as an object to deliver a message. So I come closer to the lens. I go farther from the lens. I go a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. I don't stay. I think aesthetics is looking at your camera as an object. Don't look at it as object. Look at it as a means to an end. What you mean? You want to be animated, right? So be animated. Come closer, come farther, move your head to the right, move your head to the left, laugh, be a personality that you are, that you want to convey, but of course, always authentic. Don't fake it, because I think people, when you fake it, people, so don't fake, but if you, and sometimes you have to practice your skill. Like else, you got to practice your skill. It doesn't come naturally. That's why we do Toastmasters, right? Yeah.
Well, that's what I was curious about. Yeah, once you get more experience in front of the camera, and you've built up, over these years, 2018, you're saying. So I think all of that plays into it. But I think that's awesome. Just hearing those tips alone of how to show up, how to get your energy going, how to be on how to be in the right headspace to be able to help people is crucial. And
Thank you.
I think that's great. I'm going to definitely take that with me, where you like use the visual of that you're seeing a person that way. Cause I think it is easy for your body language to slouch down, or you look off camera, but you're not really connecting with another person. If they were sitting there in the room, you would give them the respect and look right at them.
Right.
And,
That's right. And nowadays you have to think, especially nowadays with the pandemic and all that, you're not going out, you're not seeing as many people. Envision those people in front of you. You are on a stage now. Last year, and as a matter of fact, my last stage appearance was March 2nd. That was my last stage talk. Now I do it through Zoom, but it doesn't take away A, from your message, and B, from the way you deliver. If you always was animated or want to be animated, do that using the technology of today. Look at the technology as your friend, not as your enemy. Don't look at it, don't think about it. Oh God, I have to do Zoom now. Oh, because let me tell you, that gets across, right?
Yeah. If you're not excited. Exactly. And leveraging it to be able to help you out. Yeah, seen it as a chore. I mean, how blessed are we to live in this day and age where we're able to be able to have Zoom phone calls and you're able to see the person. I mean, I remember growing up as a kid, you just see that in movies. Yeah, people tuning in with a video camera, but here we're actually living it out. And only 10 years later.
Yeah, I was just talking to my husband. I said, and my kids, I said, imagine if we had this coronavirus 25 years ago, when there is no email, or maybe there is, but to only selected few, and all the video, iPhones like we have today. I mean, everything, and which goes back to the mindset, right? Where's our mindset? If we keep our place in a positive place, and if we look at obstacles as possibilities and problems as opportunities, then we have some place to go. But if we only lean on this, whatever is happening to us, is, oh my God, that's a problem. Oh my gosh, that's an obstacle. That's what you bring. And that's a negative energy that you're creating around yourself, even without planning. So again, look at obstacles as an opportunities and problems as another opportunities to solving things.
Good
Setting
challenge to
the
rise to the
first time
occasion
around.
and grow. Yeah.
Yeah,
This is
absolutely.
awesome. Well, Dorice,
Absolutely.
this has been just awesome hearing from you. And I love how before you say a tip, you're like, here's another tip. And so I think this entire podcast has been filled with just great tips and great nuggets for people that are entrepreneurs or people that are looking to build up their presence online. So I really appreciate it. I know you said you have another podcast today, but how
Yes.
can people, so very appreciative that you came on here and you're doing 2 in 1 day. So that's very impressive and not easy to do. How can people, connect with you? We mentioned the website, DoriceHorenstein.com. I can spell that out for people so they know. DoriceHorenstein.com. And then they can check out your book and your podcast. Do you want people to connect with you on YouTube, or go for it? Sorry.
Yeah. But here's another thought that I would love to give a gift to your audience. May I?
Oh, wow. Thank you. Yes, please.
Okay, so here it is. For those who connected me, send me an email to DoriceHorenstein@gmail.com, or simply the website is going to be a pop, or give me your email and you're going to get a free gift. Do that, because the free gift that you're getting is something that I've created that I'm really proud of, and I would love for all of you and for you, Brian, to get it. It's called the 7 Wheel of Relationship. It's a 7-day intention setting. It comes with my audio recording of my voice going through each of 7 pieces. And imagine if every morning I'm talking for 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes, you focus on one slice of this wheel, and you will get the PDF of the wheel, and the audio recording of me take you through this. And you can pause me, you don't have to listen to the whole thing, because I gave you an overview on the wheel, and it's like a 13-minute audio, but you can chop it up. You don't have to listen to everything, right? Or you can do one time, you can listen, and then every day look at one slice of your wheel and say, okay, how can I focus on wisdom today? How can I focus on intention tomorrow? And every day I lead you through an activity, and there's a couple of days where I said, okay, you choose, and I give you a choice. Focus on knowledge, or focus on courage, or focus on your breath, or focus on, spiritual essence, or whatever it is that I did. Mm-hmm. And I think you would love it. So anybody who wants it, 2 ways, just go on DoriceHorenstein.com. There's going to be a pop-up, fill it out, you'll get it directly. Or if you want to send me an email, DoriceHorenstein@gmail.com is one of my emails. Do that, and I will be happy to send you the link.
That is too cool. I really appreciate it, Dorice. I think the listeners are going to love that as well. That's awesome that you provide that. And, again, to you being a teacher and meeting people where they're at and providing, what would you want to have. And so I think that's great, the PDF and the audio version for people. So that way, lots of different way of getting that info. So
yeah, because I do what you do. You want people to feel good about where they are, to feel that they can progress to the next level, to feel that people care about them, right? You do that same thing. You do, and you do it beautifully, by the way. I just really appreciate everything about you.
Oh, well, thank you, Dorice. You too.
Yes,
it's I think we need more people reaching out and feeling that we're all part of, this big collaborative community of people. And so, at the end of the day, why should I hold on to all the knowledge I have when I could share that with others, and we can all rise and grow and get better together. So.
I love it. I love it. Better together. Better together.
We live in we live in an awesome time, and I'm just very thankful, and I'm really appreciative of all the work that you're doing and helping people. I know your message is going to keep growing, and you're going to keep sharing those things. So I want to take you up on that. Where will you be in 2 years? And maybe we'll have to bring you back onto the show and see where you're at and what other marketing.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing
for you. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Brian. It's been absolutely a pleasure to spend this hour with you.
Yeah, it's been, likewise. Thank you so much. And good luck on your next podcast later today. And we'll get this out to everyone soon enough. So Yeah, this has been fantastic. Yeah, we brought the cameras back on, so
Yes, I did.
yeah. Well, I can only speak for the viewers. I'm sure everyone loved it, and until next time. All
Bye.
right,
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.
I want to say a big thanks for tuning into the Media Marketing Podcast. Please subscribe to get notifications for new episodes, which are coming out every Thursday morning, or at least we're striving for that. Feel free to visit our Facebook page where you can like and join the media marketing community. This is a good resource for collaborating, sharing ideas with other media creators, marketers, and those just looking to build their network. So until next time.